When he appeared in the courtroom for the first time, Cicale, a muscular man with a handsome Italian visage, seemed fidgety. He avoided looking at Bassiano and spoke in a monotone, often referring in a stilted, formal way to the defendant by his full name. For his part, Bassiano showed little emotion, watching his old protege with dark eyes that betrayed little. Cicale recounted for the jury that he had dropped out of high school in the 10th grade and gravitated toward a life of crime that included burglary, drug dealing, homicide, and other misdeeds. A couple of his business ventures failed. He first met Bassiano in 1999, and there began the inexorable march from mob associate to made member of the Bonanno crime family, culminating in his rise to captain in 2004. But such a recitation of his criminal resume made for a prelude to Cicale's main testimony about the demise of Frank Santoro on February 15, 2001. The impetus for the killing came after Santoro had threatened to kidnap one of Bassiano's sons, a situation, as Cicale recalled. The report of the kidnap plot had come from a Bronx man who later denied saying as much when questioned by federal prosecutors years later. At first blush, Cicale thought that Santoro was supposed to be beaten up to teach him a lesson. Bassiano said that Santoro was a junkie in the Bronx, and Cicale testified that the mob captain needed his help in trying to find out where the victim lived. Trying to locate Santoro, Cicale contacted his own father, who believed that Santoro lived in the Pelham Bay section and had a dog. Meeting in the bathroom of the house of Bassiano's girlfriend and speaking in whispers, Cicale, Bassiano, and Indelicato discussed how they would drive around Pelham Bay looking for a man with a dog, and as Cicale told the jury, leave him in the street by killing him. It was a harebrained idea that amounted to nothing more than searching for the proverbial needle in a haystack. Armed with walkie-talkies, the group, which included Bassiano's friend Anthony Donato, drove around the night of February 14th for a couple of hours and found nothing, Cicale remembered. Bassiano called off the search and told everybody that he was going to find out where Santoro lived so that they all didn't waste time on such a wild goose chase, added Cicale. The next night, Cicale testified, and Indelicato called to summon him back from his home in New Jersey, where he had been preparing to take his wife out to dinner to make up for a cancellation the previous evening. A dutiful Cicale made the drive back to Cobb's house, where he said he met up again with Bassiano, Donato, and Indelicato. Bassiano, obviously irritated, said that Santoro didn't live in Pelham Bay, but rather in Throgs Neck, just blocks away from where he himself lived. The group departed Cobb's home with the same guns from the previous night and drove south to the right neighborhood, said Cicale, both he and Bassiano wearing all black. According to Cicale, the group, including Bassiano and Donato, drove in Donato's gold Acura, while Indelicato and another man named John went in a red Honda, which served as a second escape vehicle. Once the group pulled off the expressway, they were driving on a service road that intersected with Pennyfield Avenue, very close to Santoro's house. The red Honda parked near some row houses, while the other cars circled the block a few times before pulling over to wait. A few minutes passed. There goes Frank Santoro, Donato said suddenly, testified Cicale, recalling how they spotted the target talking to a neighbor. Cicale told the jury that he was anxious and wanted to kill both men, but that Bassiano told them to wait. Donato wanted to abort the mission. Then something unexpected happened. Larry Weinstein, a gambling associate and friend of Bassiano from the neighborhood, spotted him and came up to the car to say hello, said Cicale. Returning the greeting, Bassiano told Weinstein very seriously to get away from the car. In a few minutes, Santoro continued his walk with the dog. Bassiano told Donato to make the turn down the street when the light turned green, said Cicale. My adrenaline was going, recalled Cicale.